Hey, we're back. Another day. RiverTalk. Thanks for hanging with us. This is a fun segment of the show, really. I said it yesterday that it wasn't the most exciting for me, but it's fun.
Yeah, after I took you out behind the woodshed, why, you just kind of changed your whole attitude, didn't you, big fella?
The only thing I have on my mind is Chicken Hicks. And,
well, we're going to get back to that here in a minute.
Yeah, Bo Bryan is back. We'll finish that interview that we started yesterday.
My buddy Bo.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the...
What's the southern word today?
All right, our southern word for today is bauble.
I believe I married one of those.
A hairdresser?
No.
Oh, barber, not barber. Not barber, no barber.
Oh, okay, ball.
Yeah, barber. B-O-B-B-U-H. That's how you spell it.
Barber.
Now, that's one who cuts your hair. I wish you'd go to a different barber. Your hair looks like spiked up and nasty looking.
Wow, getting a little personal here.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
It looks a little weird.
Well,
there.
it is cutting a barber
All
shop.
right, all right. Well,
Yeah.
that's it for today.
There's some television hosts that they have hairdressers and can actually go to a salon. Isn't that right, Greg?
Yeah, you just use a blower, right?
No,
You don't
I
have
just
a comb,
get up
do
in the
you?
morning. No, I don't even have to comb it, man. Just a little dab of gel, and
I wish
I'm
I
looking
could do
sexier
that.
than Chicken Hicks.
I wish I could do that, buddy.
Yeah.
I swear, man. At least you got some hair. What am I talking about? I don't even know. I don't need to go to the barber.
Hey,
All
Bo
right,
Bryan.
my buddy.
Howdy.
Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
We
buddy.
got to finish up that story about Chicken Hicks
Yeah.
and the rest of this shag
If you
thing
missed it
happened.
yesterday, you missed Bo autographing Deacon's book. and we learned about his father really starting the commercial golf business.
Yeah.
His mom kind of was instrumental in naming Surfside Beach. Am I leaving something out here?
No, you're doing good.
No, and then we rolled right into Chicken Hicks.
Right.
Well, Chicken Hicks was a 16-year-old burgeoning alcoholic who hitchhiked
I waited 2 days for
to
that.
Myrtle Beach to hustle girls and rob their pocketbooks and buy himself cheeseburgers. And in the late afternoon, he would go dancing around the jukeboxes. in
What else
town.
is there to do?
Well, the jukebox operators observed that wherever Chicken went, that's where the chicks showed up. And wherever the girls showed up, that's where the guys came. And that's where the dancing happened. That's where the crowd gathered.
Wow.
Well, if the crowd gathered around your jukebox, they fed it more nickels.
Right,
all
sure.
Right.
So
And more beer was served.
they also observed that Chicken was a drunk.
Yeah.
And so they caught up with him on a Sunday afternoon and said, what records would you like to have on our jukeboxes? And Chicken said, you don't have the music that I like on your jukebox. It was all swing. It was swing jazz, right? Big band music. That's what they were jitterbugging to.
Oh, okay.
So Chicken took them, they offered him a half pint of liquor, and he took them to a juke joint in Seabreeze right outside of Wilmington, North Carolina. And they opened up the jukebox, and he said, this one, this one, this one, this one. It was Big Joe Turner and Lulu Reed and,
Oh, my
the
goodness,
Ink Spots. And all those guys who became famous in the early years of rhythm and blues, rock and roll, what became
Yeah,
known as-
sure, yeah.
This was 10 years ahead of Elvis Presley. This was in 1943.
Wow.
Okay, so they took those records that Chicken Bird Dog for them and put them on the white jukeboxes in Carolina Beach and in Myrtle Beach at the big pavilion. And the kids went nuts for it.
Oh, I bet.
Well, the summer ended, they went home, they tried to find that music back home. They couldn't find it. It wasn't in the record stores. There were no black radio stations. And so the next summer when they came back, the music was still on the jukeboxes. Chicken was still there dancing. And because they couldn't hear it anywhere else, they called it beach music.
That's right.
And that's
Only to
where
be
the
heard
term
here.
beach
That's
music
right.
came from. So all of that went into building this shag book. It turned out to be a fascinating story. I mean, and it really all comes from the interweaving of black and white culture.
Sure.
It's the music, it's social contact through dance. The black culture in its earliest form, the men and women never touched across the fire. They danced on opposite sides of the fire unless they were about to copulate.
That's a great
Yeah.
word. That'd be a
Copulate.
good one. We don't have to. Yeah, that's universal there. That word, Southern and Northern. We both figured that.
Well,
one
a
out.
lot of that went on at the beach after beach music got loose too. I guess the point really is Myrtle Beach has always been a kind of gold rush town, and things have happened here. Rock and roll music got loose in the white mainstream in Myrtle Beach 10 years ahead of Elvis Presley.
Sure.
For instance, Myrtle Beach was a Mecca and Jerusalem of music entrepreneurship in the old days when the Chitlin circuit was in.
Okay.
It was a route that big bands took through the South, and Myrtle Beach was a major stop on that place called Charlie's Place.
Right.
Right,
It
exactly.
just made an Emmy-winning documentary about. But I mean, going on back, Myrtle Beach has been a gold rush town from the beginning. In the earliest times, indigo and rice were the crops in Myrtle Beach. Indigo especially, and salt. There was salt.
That came
back
about
then.
after what? The Civil War?
Before the Civil War. This
Yeah,
was
right.
this was
Correct.
during colonial
Was that around
times.
Withers
Yeah.
Swash or?
The Withers family
Okay.
were the biggest farmers in town. Well, the hurricane of 1823, I think it was, wiped that family out. They all descended into the basement of their big house, and a tidal wave killed them all.
Wow.
So they moved out, and Burroughs and the Burroughs and Collins Company wound up buying, I think it's 62,000 acres. Was the total 55,000, 62,000, something like that, acres of raw land along the beach where Myrtle Beach is today. And the reason they bought it first was because of the longleaf yellow pine trees. They were turpentine trees. Now, turpentine and pine tar were the crude oil of the age of sail. You could not take a ship, a wooden
Right.
ship, into the tropics and expect it to survive more than a couple of years if you didn't have the bottom of that boat slathered with pine tar, because the sea worms, the tornadoes they're called, would eat that boat lock, stock, and barrel, just eat the bottom right out of it.
Wow.
So the great sea powers of the world, England, Germany, Italy, they all needed pine tar and turpentine to service their navies, to make their navies sound. And they'd cut all the trees in Europe.
Yeah.
All the trees were gone. So they had to come to the United States to get that stuff. And right here in Conway was a center of pine tar and turpentine production. That was what the original purchase of the land was for. There was a virgin forest of longleaf yellow pine trees out there until 1893, when another hurricane came along and devastated the forest. There was a tidal wave. Nobody knows for sure because there were no records, but a tidal wave somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 feet in depth swept across that area and just tore the forest all to pieces.
Wow.
Well, so the turpentine business was on the wane anyway. The age of sail was given way to steam and steel ships.
Sure.
And they decided they'd lumber off the pine forest.
That was a good.
So they
that was a
built
good
a
play on
railroad.
words there. That's
They
why he's a
built a
writer. You
railroad.
see,
Right,
they lumbered
exactly.
off their
Yeah.
pine. That's good.
Now,
built
now,
the
now,
railroad.
this information you're relaying to us right now, is this part of your other books that you've written?
Yes, I've written a series of 3 books that they're fictional history or historical fiction, which takes the actual events back in time and imagines what actually motivated them and who the people who acted in those times were actually feeling and motivated by. So it's these books. The title of the trilogy is The Flying Place.
Okay.
The Flying Place refers to a Gullah legend that if a slave ran and escaped. Instead of going north, he fled east. If he could reach the ocean and stand in the Atlantic from whence he had come across, with his feet in the ocean, when the sun rose, and raise his arms, he'd grow wings and fly back to Africa. And they called it the flying place.
Wow.
And that is
That's new to me. That's
Myrtle
neat.
Beach.
The flying
place, yeah. And it turned out to be so. That's what the carnival does. It takes people up and makes them feel like they fly.
Right.
There's something about Myrtle Beach that is mystical, in my opinion. Otherwise, why Myrtle Beach? Why does this place, has it done what it's done?
Sure.
This place is just getting started. It's just begun to grow.
Well, now, why did I come here from West Virginia and hang around for 51 years?
You were looking for freedom. That's why
it.
everybody comes.
I guess so.
You know?
Yeah, because it did. It magically, they say you get sand in your shoes.
Yeah.
I think it's also some
Well,
pine tar. I couldn't get back on
That's
the bus.
from the root. That's what the you know about the root. We got 1 minute, boys. What we're gonna do? We'll put the root on them and get more time.
The Root.
The root.
Yes, sir.
That was a song in the 80s, wasn't it? The
Yeah,
Root,
man,
the Root, the Root is on fire. Oh, that's something else completely. The Root.
Yeah, you don't know about the root?
No.
Well, Jack, you're not from here.
You know about the Root? I'm a Tar Heel boy, so I came
Well,
down.
they had the root up there
Yeah.
too, but it was on the coast primarily. The root is elsewhere and otherwise called voodoo.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got you. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Voodoo, I do you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I got you.
All
Well,
right.
Bo, we want to come back and talk a little bit more about the flying place on another
Let's
edition
do,
of the
man.
show.
I'm ready. Yeah, anytime.
This is a lot of fun.
It is.
We'll have to make him like a regular guest. Come
Yeah.
on back tomorrow and we'll do that.
I'll be right here with bells on, buddy.
Well, don't jingle. I got to do something important right now. We got to jangle on over and check out this video from the Oaks. And remember, that angel gets a wing every time. See,
right.
wings again every time the bell rings. Check this out.